solid in the middle. Turner is a freshman. And as far as Houston is concerned, they have only one senior in the starting lineup, Larry Mishaw. Drexler, the Southwest Conference Player of the Year. Elijah Franklin, a freshman. So two freshmen with the key roles of point guard starting. Memphis State, we mentioned that Georgetown win. What a victory that was. Houston defeated Maryland in slowdown games, 60-50. And the winner of this one will play Villanova for the right to go to Albuquerque.
And Keith Lee was up by about 6 inches over Mishaw on the jump. That maybe I'll tell you a little bit something about how high up Lee can go.
They met on two previous occasions. The last time, 1957. Philip Haynes from outside, tipped up by Lee. Mishaw is able to bring it down. Mishaw, big, strong, mean competitor inside.
Haynes usually likes that shot off the glass, but Elijah came running out at him for the block.
Here's the two freshmen we mentioned. Turner against Franklin. In it goes to Akeem the Dream, and he walked with the ball. Akeem, who has only played basketball since 1979, but oh, what tremendous improvement by the sophomore.
Well, when you have that type of natural ability, Gary, you can put things together in a hurry.
He was a soccer goalie when he left Lagos, Nigeria. Here is Turner, all at 5'9" of him. He must weigh 140 pounds. Bobby Parks out to Keith Lee. Reach in. Franklin got hit in the face. Franklin is shaken up, and we have a foul by Mishaw. Franklin leaning over, checking his face. He caught an elbow, evidently.
Lee didn't realize that Franklin was off to the side, and when he lifted up his arm, I think he hit him right in the face. We'll see if he's coming out. He hurt his eye, and he's got his eye closed, Gary. He hadn't opened it yet. He's probably going to have to go out.
Franklin, as we mentioned, a freshman from Lamar, Texas. Reed Geddes will replace him. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, he gets hit. I don't think Lee realized he was there at all. There he got hit in the elbow, right in the eye. He's going to have to sit down. That's
a tough way to start the game. So Franklin out, Geddes is in. They like to bring Geddes in as a zone buster to shoot outside. The foul on Mishaw is first. Here's Haynes from outside. He loves to use the glass. Rebound by Mishaw. He has two defensive boards. Here comes Drexler.
Oh, that ball was thrown poorly. Drexler just outran it.
Akeem good. Body control that time. 2-0 Houston with the lead. And that's thrown away. Early going right now. Memphis State a little shaky. That's the first turnover.
There's one of the things that a freshman has got to learn, that he's coming down the game like this. He has to establish tempo, because very seldom will you go up against this type of athletic ability. He saw it against Louisville, so he should have had some training.
Reed Geddes, number 2 in the Southwest Conference in assists. He got it to Akeem. It'll count, and he's fouled. That's what Geddes does, Billy. Gets the ball inside.
Well, Geddes, number 2 in the league in assists, which will tell you a little something. This is some play, because it's right over Keith Lee. Lee coming across from the weak side is up there. And look at Elijah some athlete.
Keith Lee with his first foul. You might think this man might slow start in this game because of his inexperience, but he's taking him in the early going right now. Three-point play.
That's one area where he is not too solid, but hits the free throw in good shape. You mentioned Geddes, number 2 in the league in the Southwest Conference in assists with 186. Only plays 22 minutes a game, so that means he's getting the ball to the right people often.
Guy Lewis couldn't say enough good things about him. Here's Bobby Parks, the captain. He tripped. When he's fouled, he was by Drexler.
One of the things in the zone, Gary, that Houston can afford to do is when a man gets the ball on the perimeter, they go right at him, which normally is not good defensive technique, because you're off balance, a man can drive by. But they like nothing better for you to drive by, because you're driving right into that great size in the middle.
The foul on Drexler, second team foul now against Houston. Michael Young coming out to pick up Turner. Turner just very, very small. He's listed at 5'10", but really 5'9". Here's Keith Lee. See how they respect his shooting range.
It's a 2-3 zone. Mishaw in the center, Elijah out on the wing.
Into Phillips, a reach in, and that's the third team foul. The first on Geddes, so Houston picking him up in a hurry.
You mentioned, too, Geddes coming in the ballgame. Normally, he comes in on the first baseline, inbounds play on the offensive end of the court for Houston. So maybe that threw off their streak a little bit.
You know, Lewis said, I'll get him in if there's only 1 second gone by. Right. We have a baseline play.
And I see Franklin's got a patch in his eye. Maybe he has not opened that eye yet.
Eric Phillips out of St. Louis hits it. Here's a young man who looked like his career was over. There is Franklin.
It's like a little ice pack or something on the eye. He has been holding it ever since he got hit with the elbow.
Phillips had that stress fracture, the same injury that Bill Walton's had such a difficult time with. But he's back and playing extremely well, and now Memphis State on the board, trailing 5-2.
2-2-1, full court pressure, Lee all the way back.
Drexler, oh, he handles the ball well. Here's Mishaw against Lee. Oh! Akeem again, he has 7 points.
What's so tough is there's Lee all the way back. When he steps out to try to drop that jump shot, you've got nobody in there to handle the big Olajuwon.
There's a traveling call over Memphis State, and again, you saw Keem getting back defensively.
Here you go. Now, here's Lee going out to stop the jump shot. When he goes out, that doesn't happen. You don't have much size back in there to protect on a missed shot. And Olajuwon goes over the top of everybody.
Olajuwon had a high of 30 points this year. He also had a high of 22 rebounds, so he has had spectacular statistics in this season. He has all 7 points as Houston leads at 7-2. Drexler, Young tried to tip it in. Here comes Turner. Turner out of the Memphis area. 9 of the 12 players from Memphis. Keith Lee, followed by Phillips.
Well, I guess Memphis State says we've got somebody can follow up the shot a little bit.
They are doing it with some finality here, aren't they? 7-4. Here's Drexler. You see why they call him fly at the clock.
Oh, what a
how
pass.
smooth he is.
Charge.
Let's see what they're going to call. They're going to call a foul on Memphis State, and the basket will count.
No, I think it's going to be the other way around. I thought it was a charge. That's 2 on Lee.
Well, Keith Lee, and this is what they can ill afford to do, is get Lee in foul difficulty.
Okay, he knows he's going to have trouble tonight because they're going to come right at him. I think the foul's the other way around. Mishaw made the body contact.
Mishaw, a tough customer. They call him Mr. Mean. He gives no quarter inside. That's the second three-point play for Houston. They lead 10-4.
There's Turner slowing things down a little bit. I'd have to say the pace is really favoring Houston at this spot. Memphis State needs a little bit more tempo, slow tempo in this game.
However, Dana Kirk said they weren't slowing down as much as some teams. They'd like to go at him a little bit, but you mentioned Houston loves to run the ball.
And they have the guys to come off the bench to play. Memphis State basically playing 5, and there's some dunking.
They got Akeem away from the basket, and Keith Lee took over, 10-6.
He came in from behind the zone that time, attacked it from the backside.
We may have the 2 best dunking teams along with Louisville in the country here tonight. Here's Geddes. Geddes probably their best outside shooter. Drexler, that smooth move. Drexler, the Southwest Conference Player of the Year, averaging 16.8.
Good job by Turner right here. Didn't go into the teeth of that press. Pulled it back out, let him spread out.
Thus far, Houston's hit 5 of 7 from the field. Memphis State 2 of 5 attempts. And it goes to Phillips. Nice catch by Lee.
Great catch.
That's what he has, with great nimble hands. Rebounds his own missed shot. Rebound now by Michael Young at 6'6". He's like a forward that plays a guard.
Olajuwon altered that shot by Lee a little bit, but Lee showed you the great hands he has inside. Look at the wingspan on Lee in the middle of that zone. Goes almost all the way across the lane. In old-time basketball, the lane when Mikan and those guys played, he'd cover the whole lane.
Drexler into Akeem, working on Lee. Lee's got to be careful. Out it comes now to Mishaw. Here's Geddes, who had those big free throws against Boston College last year in the regional. He hit 10 of 10. They got him to the Final Four.
I'm surprised Houston doesn't go inside to Mishaw. Try to go ahead and get that third one on Lee.
Both Phillips and Lee have the defensive position as an end result, the rebound. 12-6. Houston, 15 minutes to go in this first half. The winner to play Villanova, who had a real tough game with Iowa. They won it 55-54. Here's the front line scoring by the Cougars.
It's interesting on the right-hand side of the zone where Olajuwon plays, Houston much more vulnerable for good shots because on the other side you have Drexler and he covers the ground a lot better.
All the scoring thus far from the front line for Houston.
Let's see if they go inside, try to make Lee play Mishaw.
Here's Geddes. He'll pop from there. And inside there's a foul. It's going to go against Houston. I believe it's Mishaw. If that's true, that would be 2 on him. That's his second.
Okay, 2 key ball players picking up fouls in a hurry here, and we saw last night Virginia had Sampson out in a hurry.
Dana Kirk, his team down by 4. 14 minutes, 33 seconds left in the first.
The anti-shot stick on Challenger and Sapporo, imported only for Dodge and Plymouth. These road-handling high-tech imports deliver a lot of car for the money with a 2.6-liter silent shaft MC8 jet engine and more standard features than Datsun's 200SX or Toyota Celica GT.
Now get 11.9% rate financing or $300 cash back with all new 1982 or 83 cars. See participating dealers for details.
If you think all oil filters are the same, look at this Purolator filter. It protects rods, pistons, the camshaft, and 11 other specific engine parts against oil filter failure. And it backs it up with the Purolator product's first 50,000-mile engine protection plan. Comply with the plan, and your engine's protected for its first 50,000 miles. So next time, don't put on an oil filter that says it'll protect your engine. Put on one that guarantees it. Purolator. Enter the Purolator Do It Right America sweepstakes. Grand prize, a Chrysler LeBaron. See your Purolator dealer for details.
At the conclusion of tonight's NCAA championship game, Billy Packer and I will select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. 14-33, both teams outstanding jumping ability. What's the defensive wingspan?
Well, when he spreads out there, they come up like the giant bird right in the center there, and he goes all the way across the lane with those arms.
When you're 6'10", and you have arms that long, what are you equivalent of?
I don't know.
About 7'2"?
Probably.
Memphis State settling down after being shaky early. Now trailing by 4.
I'd hate to have to buy dress shirts for him, though, I'll tell you that.
Phillips coming outside to meet the basketball. Turner, he just not much to him as far as physical stature, but oh, what a heart, and how he has really filled in, replacing Otis Jackson. Rebound, Drexler.
Again, having to shoot over a 6'6" Young, it's kind of tough to put it up there when you're 5'10". But Turner doing a good job slowing the tempo down now.
Here's Geddes in there for Alvin Franklin. Franklin looking on the bench now, is taking the ice pack off his eye. He may be able to come in soon.
They've changed the zone a little bit.
Into Akeem. Shoots it over Lee. Drexler tries to follow, and here comes Bobby Parks.
And he moves that ball down the court beautifully, doesn't he?
He is so quick to Turner.
Great job by Parks. He can penetrate with the best of them. Extremely quick, good ball handler.
Akeem's going to have to get his head on a swivel the way they're moving back and forth on him.
Here's that 2-2-1 press again, but really not designed to steal the ball as much as it is designed to push Houston out a little bit.
Houston's lead now has been cut to 2.
A subtle change, but an important change on the zone defense. They move Lee to a wing. They have Phillips in the middle now.
Young, the leading scorer, can't get the shot. Akeem had it, and now Keith Lee has it. There's almost a steal by Drexler. Drexler has already set a school record for steal, 3rd in the nation. You can see why. He was laying back on that one. 12-10. Memphis State now the chance to tie it up. Parks. Oh, Haynes can't save it.
Haynes was kind of lucky. He took that ball out of bounds with him because when he tapped it in the direction of the Houston basket, and Geddes was on his way out.
Philip Doom Haynes, as now Franklin will come in. Look at that eye. Looks like it's swollen a little bit, right? Squinting a little bit. So Franklin back in.
Kind of interesting in regard to playing time. Franklin averaging 14 minutes a game. Geddes is averaging 22, and David Rose 10. So out of that one guard position, they get that 40 minutes from 3 fellows.
Franklin really was the final piece to the puzzle. They were struggling a little bit. They need somebody to distribute the basketball. Houston now has missed 4 shots in a row. They have a 2-point lead. Young. Michael Young. He's hit the clutch shot all year long for them.
Well, with the exception, as far as clutch, with the exception of the North Carolina game last year when he only had 2 points there in the opening round of the Final Four, he has been Mr. Clutch.
You know, he was sick in that game. There was Keith Lee rolling one in. 14-12. He had a 104-degree temperature going in to that Final Four. 4 points now for Keith Lee.
Press again. Drexler doing it. Going right over the top, and he walks.
That's the second turnover now against the Cougars. Memphis State again with a chance to tie it up.
What's happened a little bit to Houston is that with that pressure, they're not coming up to meet the ball, and Drexler anticipated somebody would come to meet him, and when they didn't, he took the step.
There's an interesting view high above here at Kemper Arena.
Okay, here's the zone, 2-3 zone, Mishaw in the middle. Now, when you play zone like this, you have a tendency to let the other team set the tempo, and I think right now, Memphis State's getting the tempo to their style.
Turner off to Haynes. Haynes driving on Akeem, and he was able to chest him out for the foul.
The right-hand side's where you can attack that zone because Akeem is not that adept at going out and playing the forward spot defensively.
That's his first foul. That's 5 team fouls now against Houston. 11:54 to go. They'll be shooting free throws before this first half is over at this stage. Bobby Parks. Parks has really been maybe the most improved player in that starting lineup.
Gary, if they start shooting a lot of free throws, you know who that favors definitely in this game, Memphis State, because they're, as a team, shooting over 70%, 75%, and Houston down around the 60s.
That is their Achilles heel, if there's anything, is Houston's 4 free throw shooting. That'll be off of Houston. 3 of them there, and none of them could come up with it, so Memphis State will reset. Still with a chance to tie it up at the 11:38 mark of the first half. Again, Villanova winning the first game, 55-54. They'll play the winner of this one, and then they'll go to the Final Four, the winner of that game on Sunday.
There it is, and that's why over on the left side it's so tough. See how well Drexler can play that wing as opposed to Akeem on his side.
And what an assist. Oh, he missed it. Drexler, beautiful pass. Akeem got hung up on it.
Look at Lee handle that ball in the backcourt. What happened was the catch. We talk how important the catch is. He lost the ball on the catch, couldn't get the handle for the dunk.
Well, what a difference in this guy from a year ago. Eddie Sutton of Arkansas says that Akeem's the biggest difference in this Houston team. And he's moving around, almost got a piece that I think he may have of that ball. Hustle by Drexler, Bobby Parks, rejected by Misha.
He was up there.
Again they go at him. Boy, they just keep after him. It's tied up.
Nice job by Turner. That's the second time he's been able to hit a man in the lob who came in from behind the zone.
Boy, they did not get discouraged. Very patient. Kept hammering away, and they tied it up. Here's Franklin. Franklin. Oh, bad shot. Rebound, Misha. Akeem. I think Lee is really afraid to go up against him and pick up that third foul.
Well, that was a smart play by Lee because he wasn't in a position to go up clean, and he didn't want to reach and pick up a cheap one.
Houston on top by 2. 16-14. Akeem has 9 points in the game.
Oh, what another great catch.
That may have not have been a good pass, but Lee retrieved it. Really, he is amazing around the basket.
Use the board. He's not going to go up against a shot blocker much better than Patrick Ewing, and he had 28 in that game.
28 points, 15 rebounds. He came in there averaging 18 and a half a game. That was second best in the Metro Conference. Here is Young. Rebound, Drexler. Akeem again.
That might have been on the rim. Awful close.
Dana Kirk thinks so. Here's Bobby Parks. Akeem back. Parks got it in.
What a play.
He challenged the 7-footer, and he comes away with a tie. 18 all.
This is some game in it, Gary.
Tremendous athletes.
The Iowa-Villanova game, for those people who didn't see that one, was just like it.
Down to the last free throw. 9:17 to go in this first half. Franklin's going to try another one.
I think we'll see Geddes in for him not in a very short time. Hey, look who came off the bench.
Yeah, here comes Geddes. I think Guy Lewis heard you because sending in Geddes. Let's look at the last play.
Here it is. Drexler's on. Goes up, uses his body well. There's the ball. No, I think it was underneath the rim.
The replay vindicates him. 18 all, 9:11 left in the first half.
There's new value in Ram Tough Dodge trucks. Now only Dodge Truck makes this three-way offer. 1, cash back when you buy them, up to $750 on Ram pickups, $1,000 on Ram Chargers. 2, prospector discounts up to $1,000 when you equip them. And 3, 11.9% when you finance them. Dare to compare. Only Dodge makes this offer. Cash back, prospector discounts, and 11.9 financing.
Dodge trucks are Ram Tough.
When you stay at a big, fancy hotel, you pay for a lot more than your room. You don't need a fancy hotel to get a big, comfortable room. You can get one at Howard Johnson's, along with a big bathroom, an oversized bed, and even some special care in our executive section. All at a sensible price. At Howard Johnson's, we don't care about the fanfare. We care about the things that count most.
Tuesday, Mel Brooks, Harvey Korman, Cloris Leachman, and Madeline Kahn are suffering from an overdose of contagious comedy in High Anxiety. Tuesday.
We talk about coming from behind the zone. Now here you see Keith Lee working the baseline, coming in behind the zone. Look at this catch way above the rim. He comes down, makes the good shuffle pass inside to Phillips. But you have to remember who's the guy that's going to catch the ball. Phillips doesn't have that good of hands. Then Lee gets it back, protects the ball beautifully, shoots a little half hook over Akeem Olajuwon. Some play.
18 all is our score. Houston will inbounds the ball. We now have David Rose in the ball game. 25-year-old junior, should say senior from Houston. He has the ball, and he's going to put it up right away. Yeah. Rebound by Parks.
Guy Lewis came back with Geddes and Rose, and you knew that Franklin was coming out because he doesn't want those kind of outside shots when you have so much power inside. And I think Houston's missed an opportunity to go at Lee a little bit with 2 quick fouls on him.
The Lee just roaming back and forth on that baseline.
He's looking for the lob, attacking the zone from behind.
Oh, it's not what they wanted. He was trying to get it to Keith. Saved by Haynes somehow. Here comes Philip Haynes.
He's got that glass down perfect.
They call him the glass man, and you can see why on that play. And now Memphis State has the lead for the first time, 20-18.
They changed their zone a little bit here. Nice trap. They're not with Elijah Wan out of there. They go out a little bit further on the trap.
Nice move by Young. Nope, he's guilty of walking with the ball. That's great turnovers. Young's been very quiet. He's their leading scorer. But thus far, he hasn't had the ball that much.
They're not going to press Turner way back there. They're in trouble.
Here's Andre Turner out of Memphis High School. Still
room for a little man in the game when you get in that open court area. They can't handle Turner out in that open court area.
A 4-point lead now for the Tigers. Drexler back out to Geddes. Geddes, a big guard. He's 6'7". Had some knee problems. He's going to have surgery at the end of the season.
He's getting ready to post up for that jumper.
Off to Rose. Good ball movement. Young, they got to have that outside shot. Michael Young, an All-Southwest Conference pick. He has 4 points. A 2-point lead now for Memphis State.
Houston put 3 fellas on that ball club, along with Misha on the second team.
Keith Lee. Lee now really starting to fill it up. He has 8 points. Keene's going to come back in at the first opportunity. They take him out of there, and Lee has kind of the run-of-the-mill out there.
Another fella's been a little quiet offensively is Drexler. I think we'll see him coming to the ball, getting his hands on a little bit more.
There's Geddes. That's the kind of shot now, Guy. He likes that because Geddes will hit those. Very fine shooter this year. Shooting 54% from the field.
Doesn't take a lot of shots. Good shot selection.
Bobby Parks working inside. Parks at 6'5". Last year was a guard. Then they made a move. They moved him forward, and it's been a historical move as far as Memphis State is concerned.
Now they're in a 1-3-1 zone in Memphis State. They've changed their defense twice now. This puts Keith Lee right in the center.
There's Michael Young over Lee. Nice shot by the left-hander. Guy Lewis, 61 years old, last Saturday.
Look at Turner in the open court. I think Houston making a mistake trying to challenge that young man.
Have you ever seen anybody shoot off the glass any better than Haynes?
Well, one of the good things about it, he knows he's going to do it every time, so he's got the consistency when he goes in the air. He knows what his target is.
He might be the unsung hero on this club. We're talking about Philip Haynes, number 32.
Now they go back to the 2-3 zone.
Geddes again. Picked up by Misha, Drexler, and it's back
Good
out
block
of his
by
hands
Phillips.
Off of Houston.
Yep, Phillips got the block, and it hit Drexler in the foot.
Alvin Franklin will come in, and now their instant offense guy will be coming in.
We'll see it right here. Drexler going up, gets the ball, gets it slapped out of his hands, goes right down, hit him in the foot, and he kicked it out of bounds.
Replay vividly showing it. Now, we mentioned instant offense coming in. It's Benny Anders, number 32 for Houston. He's come off the bench all year long and ignited this ball club. He's in there now. Franklin back in. 5:54 to go. A fast-moving first half of play.
Lee has got Akeem right on his back. He wants that ball inside. Geddes doing a good job.
4-point lead for Memphis State. Lee working on Akeem. Now Turner backs it out.
Geddes is a smart player. He realized what Lee was doing inside, and he sloughed off.
Turner penetrating, kicks it out to Parks. Oh, what a fake by Parks over Akeem. Oh.
And again, you see Anders rushing right out at Parks. Parks made the move, and normally Akeem would have stopped that shot.
And now a 6-point lead, the biggest lead of the game for the Tigers of Memphis State. Here's Anders. Anders had 18 points and a big one over Arkansas this year, coming off the bench.
Notice how they've not gotten the ball inside. There he is.
Isn't it amazing?
A lot of confidence.
Yes, he comes in and he's heated up instantly. 30-26.
Guy Lewis goes way down on that bench. He's got 8 to 9 fellas that play over 10 minutes a game, so he's not afraid to go to the bench.
They call him the cavalry, and he can substitute whatever he needs. Rebounds, defense, points. Right now, Memphis State has hit 9 field goals in a row, Billy. There's a reach in, and Akeem has it. There's the time remaining in the first half. Chance now to cut it to 2, the Cougars. Anders looks like he wanted to pop it again.
He's got some real quickness.
Who doesn't in this game? There's Elijah on. What improvement.
Well, it's been a long time, almost 16 minutes. The time that or 15 minutes from the time that Lee was in some foul trouble. That's the first time they've gone inside to make him have to play against Olajuwon.
So that 6-point lead now has been cut to 2. Eric Phillips has been fouled. That'll be Anders. Benny Anders, they call him the bomber from Bernice. He's from Bernice, Louisiana. And what an addition he has been.
This is a well-conceived offense against the zone by Dana Kirk, coming in from behind it.
There's a timeout for 12. The winner moving in against Villanova.
Experience the 1983 Mazda GLC.
Experience.
A unique front-wheel drive economy car with new, unusually comfortable seats. 5-speed overdrive, split fold-down rear seats, and radial tires.
Experience.
Mazda GLC. Its performance may surprise you,
Experience.
but its outstanding value should be no surprise at all. The more you look, the more you like the Mazda experience.
We're throwing a beer party here in New York. The people don't know the name of the beer they're drinking.
It's good beer. It's crisp, it's light, robust, tastes good.
I'd like to know what kind of beer it is.
Can I find out what this is afterwards?
It's Schaefer. Today's Schaefer beer.
Schaefer? It is surprising to me. Why? Because I didn't think Schaefer would have such a good beer. No, I was told it wasn't any good, and I think they're wrong. It is good.
Today's Schaefer is better than ever. Try it. And try new Schaefer Light. They'll make a Schaefer drinker out of you.
It's there. It's there for me. It's what I want.
The road to Albuquerque continues tomorrow. Billy and I will be in Knoxville, Kentucky against Louisville. The first meeting in 24 years since 1959. What a battle that should be. And then from the West region, North Carolina State against Virginia. That's a rematch of the ACC championship game. Both those games coming your way tomorrow here on CBS.
Sure, you think if you had a TV set in Kentucky, you could possibly be watching anything other than Louisville against Kentucky. They waited for that game for a long, long time.
Can you imagine? I wonder if there's any emotion left in the state. 30-28.
Good trap by Houston.
Is they going to be backcourt? They touched it.
No, they hit the ball. Officials doing a good job, and that first game was an excellent officiating game.
Here's Drexler the steal. That's the reason he's third in the country in that department.
Oh,
I don't believe it.
Oh, goodness. What a play. He took off at the foul line. Looked like Dr. J.
Turner looks like a pygmy under there.
You know what might have saved Drexler? The fact that Turner's that small. He almost went right over the top of him.
Oh, what a
landed on his feet.
30 all. They want a dramatic way to tie up this game. 3:34 left in the first half.
John Sunbull sitting over here keeping our stats for this today, and he just shaking his head over there and said, thank goodness he wasn't on the back end of that defensively.
Looked like he might get into foul trouble, but he just went over Turner. Here's Turner, the man we were mentioning, penetrating. Oh, what a move.
The little guy did it, huh?
We have seen a season full right now, a spectacular play.
Well, Dana Kirk said when he recruited him, there may be some quicker guys in the country, but I don't know where they are.
32-30, Memphis State by 2, and Anders turned it over. Let's go back to that Drexler slam.
We said in the Syracuse game, this may be the nation's finest athlete in terms of basketball players. Watch this. And he landed right on his feet someplace by grabbing the rim there, which really saved him.
Memphis State continues to shoot very well. They have hit 10 of their last 10 from the field. 32-30. They have the lead with 2:45 left in the first half of play.
Notice how relaxed Keith Lee is. He doesn't force action. He tries to find a hole in the zone, just relaxing in there.
Got by Baskerville Holmes, who just checked in, a freshman. Drexler with a rebound.
Good job by Drexler. He fell down, but he kept the ball alive by a little bit of dribble. Otherwise, it would have been a turnover on a walk.
So Holmes in for the first time. Another Memphisian who's come in and has played very well. Here's Anders again.
Anders just has it. It's that look in his face that he's just so confident on that jump shot.
He was the Louisiana High School Player of the Year. He was headed maybe to Arkansas, ended up in Houston, and he's tied this game up. Tie that we have, and look at the front line scoring, all even there.
Lee is open, and they've got to get the ball to him. There he is. When they get it inside, you can see how the zone collapses around him, but Olajuwon playing right behind him because he normally can block anybody's shot, but I think Memphis State can get the ball into Lee, and he'll work on Olajuwon.
Holmes brings it out to Bobby Parks. You see the time left in the first half. Boom Hayes, this time he doesn't use a glass, has his own rebound. Over Akeem.
Foul on Akeem.
Akeem committing the foul, and everybody's going up for that ball. That's the 7th team foul now against Houston. And against Akeem Abdul-Olajuwon, his second.
Well, you remember last year when he blocked a lot of shots. He blocked more shots than Ewing or Sampson last year, and of course has done it again this year. But he blocked a lot on the way down. It just automatic gave up 2 points. This year he's making much better selection as to what to go after.
146 blocks, Billy, coming in.
When you figure Sampson going into last night's game, I believe, had 99.
Well, and that's what Lee had, who led the Metro Conference. Young will come back in. Geddes will set down at the 131 mark. Michael Young, one of the most sought-after players ever to come out of the state of Texas.
You can see both of these clubs not lacking for talent. Most valuable here, most valuable there.
Well, you don't get to the Sweet 16 without some mobility. And a miss by Haynes. As we mentioned, Memphis State is a good free throw shooting club.
Haynes shooting 84%. It really helps you down the wire. We saw tonight Iowa. That's been one of their bugaboos in the key ball games. And they had Hansen on the line, had a chance to really be in control and couldn't hit him.
Derek Phillips will come in, and leaving the ball game will be Keith Lee with 1:31. They don't want to get that third foul on him.
Exactly. A very good move by Dana Kirk. Not only that gives him a nice chance to rest in before halftime, but the key thing, don't pick up the third one in the first half. And I believe that's why we see Mishaw down this long, too.
Houston down by 1. Anders trying again. Rebound inside by Drexler. Young, they're horsing the boards.
There, Drexler again. Just slapped that ball over to Young when he realized he couldn't get a handle on it.
Houston set Southwest Conference records this year in assists, steals, blocks. They set a Southwest Conference record for field goal percentage. They just had a brilliant year.
Might not be a bad idea to hold it for the last shot right now because they've got Keith Lee out of the game. They're only 1 down. You've got a chance to either go in, 1 ahead. Yeah, it's a good idea. They're going for 1 shot right here. 44 seconds to go. You got the other team in a zone. Just pull it back out and go for 1.
1-point lead by Houston, the top-ranked team, a 24-game winning streak.
So you can get called for delay a game if you just held the ball all the way out because the team on defense has got the lead and it's up to the offense to force the action. But as long as you send it through the midcourt area, you're attacking the basket well enough within the rules not to get called for delay of the game.
You can see they approach 15 seconds.
Tell me the little guy might not try to penetrate down the middle of this zone and dish off. There he goes.
Bobby Parks. And Young commits the foul. Michael Young with 4 seconds committing the foul.
Turner may be a freshman in class, but he is not a freshman in regard to experience and knowledge of the game. That was a smart thing to do. Go right down the center of the 2-3 zone and dish off to the wing.
Young committing his first personal foul. Bobby Parks at the line. Guy Lewis went over 500 victories this year. He is only the 17th coach to ever do that.
And Gary, let's see right now, if you're Memphis State, you ought to be picking up real quick on the guy throwing the ball inbounds because on the other end of the court, you have Michael Young, who I'm sure Houston would like to fire the ball down to. There's 4 seconds to go in this half.
Interestingly enough, Houston's committed 18 fouls. Memphis State only 2. Rebound, Haynes. Blocked by Anders.
Down to 1 second. Still time to get something off.
Anders showing he can jump at 6'5". 34 all. They want to get Mishaw in.
I can't believe this. You've got Mishaw with 2 fouls on him. You put him in there with 1 second to go, and he picks up a cheap one.
He replaces Anders.
Well, they're just trying to stop the lob inside, but that's taking a real gamble with a man you want to have out there in the second half.
Of course, Keith Lee not in there. They might not be able to execute that lob as well. Try to get it Derek Phillips out instead to Turner. And
good if it goes.
Doesn't make the mark. And so it's all tied up. 34 all. Memphis State and Houston.
Championship. The Kingdome, 201 King Street, Seattle, Washington, 98104. The preceding message provided by the NCAA.
34 all. In that first half, Houston led by as many as 6 points. Really, one of the big reasons is that Memphis only hit 5 of their first 14 shots, and then they came back to hit 10 in a row, and they turned it around.
Very close game on the scoreboard, all tied up, but statistically it's extremely close also. Both teams shooting 51%. Rebounds are very close. I'm really surprised that Memphis State has been able to go up on the boards with Houston.
Memphis State's biggest lead was 4 points in the first half. It had 7 ties, 2 lead changes. And in that first half, Akeem Abdul-Olajuwon had the most, 13 points. Lee had 8 points. But he, to me, is the biggest improvement we've seen in this Houston team from a year ago.
It really is. And, of course, they're all a year older, which really helps them. Last year was an extremely young team that they took to the Final Four.
As you know, we have the shot chart that we like to show. We're going to come back with that in a little bit, but we have a special guy that's working with us on the shot chart. John Sunvold, the all-Big 8 guard from the University of Missouri. You think he can figure it all out?
Mr. Clutch, he knew how to shoot them. How if he can mark them down as well, we're in business.
Good morning.
Oh, but we can't begin without that.
I called you yesterday. Didn't you get my message?
His flight is late. I'm sorry there.
Waste, frustration. Through no fault of their own, today's executives often end up wasting time. Precious time, which could be better used thinking, planning, getting a jump on the competition.
I don't think this meeting's going to stop.
Worst of all is the waste of America's most precious asset, brains. Well, now there's AIS, the new division of American Bell, with the products, the know-how, and the systems to manage time and move information. So people can think smarter, act faster, work happier. American Bell, we're here. We can help.
In spite of backbreaking interest rates, unemployment, and recession, we've done what the experts said couldn't be done. We built a new Chrysler Corporation. We built it on high mileage and front-wheel drive, on K-cars and LeBarons, convertibles, luxury cars, sports cars. We built it on quality. That's why we back every new car we build for 5 years or 50,000 miles. Before you put your money down, think. You can go with Chrysler, or you can go with somebody else and take your chances.
A new breed of sportswear. The Boston Athletic Club. Sportswear with spirit. The Boston Athletic Club. From shirts to shorts to slacks and back. From the cut to the colors, it's your style. It's the way you play the game. The Boston Athletic Club. Get into it.
You're in for a change and see.
34 all, 20 minutes to decide this issue. CBS's sports coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this word from your local station.
Winning my 5th Masters, what a thrill.
Jack Nicklaus, 5-time winner of the Masters, a tradition unlike any other on CBS Sports.
This is CBS.
I think you can see down in the Memphis State end, which are the white dots, that they realized in a hurry that they should attack the right-hand side of that zone. You can see very little was taken over on the left-hand side where Drexler is. So I think that was a very good psychology and good team concept for Dana Kirk's club. Down on the other end of the court, almost exactly the opposite. Been shooting some shots out on the right-hand side against the zone. One of the things I thought Houston could have done in that first half was go at Lee when he picked up the 2 quick fouls, but fortunately for Dana Kirk's club, that never happened.
Nobody in any foul difficulty. Kind of interesting to note, though, that 3 of the players from Memphis State played all 20 minutes in the first half. Only Drexler did for Houston.
Could be a factor in the second half, but that's been true throughout the year for Memphis State. Well, I'll just give you an example. Phillips averaging 30 minutes a game, Turner 32, Haynes 33, Parks 36, and Lee 36. So they're used to going almost the full 40 minutes.
There's another interesting comparison, very close. Houston does have the advantage, but not by much, especially point-wise. So Houston will inbound. We start the second half.
Close to 5 seconds.
Got it into Mishaw. Here is Michael Young, and Young starts him off.
There's a soft shot off that glass.
He's in double figures with 10 points.
And he's a guy that's a second half player. But 3 or 4 times this year, he's had over 20 points in the second half.
17,306 on hand. They're jammed in here. Capacity crowd.
Man-to-man. Now, this is the first time today they went man-to-man. I think the reason for it is that Guy Lewis wants to pick up the tempo. Excellent move.
Here is Turner. Dishing it off now to Bobby Parks. Again over Akeem, who went high into the air.
Well, actually, Akeem was blocked off a little bit by his own man. Now, the big matchup here, if they're going to stay man-to-man, is Mishaw playing against Keith Lee.
There's Turner reaching in on his counterpart, Alvin Franklin. Franklin, evidently that eye not bothering him after catching an elbow early in the game. Here's Drexler, a little off balance. Akeem follows. They're trying to follow his Young, and it's going to be off of Young.
Akeem just goes up there and cups that ball. He doesn't even worry about slamming it through, just cups it and carries it to the basket.
Can you imagine what kind of a soccer goalie he was? There wouldn't be any mouth of the goal left. 36 all. A minute gone by here. Second half of play, the winner to play Villanova, and that is off of Memphis State.
Good call by the official. Very well officiated ball game. I mentioned in that first game you have DeBro, Harrington, and Clark was the finest officiated game I've seen in the tournament so far. These fellas are now working as teams, not as individuals, to get moved ahead on the further round.
Franklin almost put that ball off, but he did to Akeem Abdul-Olajuwon from Lagos, Nigeria. He grew up 200 miles from the jungle in Lagos and now gives them a 2-point lead.
Lagos is a big metropolis, so his dad's in the cement business. A lot of building took place during the time that they discovered oil over there.
There's Keith Lee. Good touch. Won't go. Drexler with a rebound. That's 5 for Clyde the Glide.
Good hit.
Young. Blocked by Parks, but he fouled him. Boy, what a meeting at the basket that was.
That was the great push-up by Drexler, forcing the ball up the court so quickly. We're talking about a 6'7" guy right here, forcing it up, and Young cuts the corner. It takes it in there. Parks stays right with him. But Young had a lot of strength to carry it to the basket.
Boy, they challenge each other, don't they? That's the first foul on Bobby Parks. Young with 10 points for the game. Young, one of the many people from the Houston area. He played at Yates High School. He's hitting 65%, as we mentioned now. As a team, the Cougars shooting only 62%. It's the only real thing statistically you can point out that they have not done well this year.
That's right, and they've been to the line a lot of times, over 625 shots from the foul line. When you only shoot 60%, that's giving up a lot of baskets.
Well, they have 1 of 2 that time at the line. 39-36, that's off of Houston.
Now you can see what this change by Guy Lewis, which I think was a relatively subtle but very smart move on his part. It's picking up the tempo of the game. Mishaw behind Lee, and they didn't hit him with the ball.
You mentioned Guy Lewis. He's winning a lot of honors this year as Coach of the Year in several publications. All of a sudden, people starting to recognize his ability. He's been around a while, hasn't he?
He certainly has. He's had 25 straight winning seasons after those first 2 years there. The only guys up ahead of him, Adolph Rupp had 41, and Johnny Wooden had 27.
And he's 27th here. There's Mishaw, batted it away from Keith Lee. 8 turnovers now against the Tigers.
Man-to-man causing some problems for Memphis State. They're going to have to get Turner penetrating a little better. Still in the 2-3 zone is Memphis State. Keith Lee in the middle. They're giving the shot to Franklin.
Franklin with a funny spin on the ball, tipped up by Mishaw once. Keith Lee with a rebound.
Just as Drexler took it up the court, so does Lee.
Lee averaged almost 11 rebounds a game. That'll be off of Houston. Memphis State will reset at the 17-21 mark. They trail 39-36.
I think we're going to see Keith Lee touch it here. That's what I was expecting. What a soft shot.
How do you stop a play like that?
Well, Memphis State's going to realize that with that man-to-man and Mishaw playing right behind Lee, they can get him the ball.
Keith Lee with 10 points, a 1-point lead now. High above, you look at it. Drexler in trouble, but he pulled it off.
excellent spin on that ball to put it off the glass.
What a remarkable athlete.
A ballet man going in there.
He has 6 points, and all 6 of them have been a spectacular variety.
Now let's watch this matchup. Mishaw and Lee. Lee taking him outside to start. Here they go in their offense. Now he swings in there low. There he is.
Keith Lee faking well, but again a reach in by Mishaw. Saved off to Philip Haynes. Haynes. Baseline. Derek Phillips, and they're going to have goaltending.
Yep, it hit off the glass. Team got a piece of it. Here comes Drexler. We'll see him right now. Takes it inside. Now watch him pull this ball back and still make the shot off the glass. Some play.
That time they got whistled down for the goaltending, but this team has been averaging 8 blocks a shot. Speaking of Houston, who now has a 1-point lead at the 16-24 mark.
Hey, there's that zone. Boy, they're packing it way back. Drexler wisely took the jump shot because the zone is now inside the foul line.
That shows that he can shoot the ball from outside. A 3-point lead now for Houston.
And right away, they're going to have to figure out a way to get into their man-to-man offense. Phillips is not being played by Olajuwon.
That's getting into your offense, isn't it? Yep.
But Olajuwon is not playing Phillips at all. Now, we saw that last week in Indiana game where they did not go ahead and worry about anybody other than Tisdale. So the man that's not being guarded has got to become active.
Drexler looked like he might push it in again.
Look at the zone, inside 10 feet.
But they're really bunched in there, aren't they?
They really are.
Here's Drexler from this side this time. Phillips with a rebound.
I would look for Geddes to get back in the ball game because if they're going to pack that zone in that tight, you've got anybody that can take the jumper from outside the top of the key and he can be wide open.
That was kind of a frustration foul. Drexler missing the shot and committing his second personal foul. That's the first team foul against the Cougars. Guy Lewis, he's running out of checkered towels. They got to find a new company to make them for him.
There's Franklin out there on Turner. Be a tough guy to chase down. That's a good job by Phillips. He pulls Olajuwon out.
Bobby Parks. Drexler may have committed his third. He has. Picked up 2 back-to-back here.
Now that's a great move by Memphis State. They brought Phillips out. As I said, they've got to make the man Olajuwon is guarding play somebody. When he did, here goes Parks inside. He realized he had to pull it back. Gets fouled from behind by Drexler.
You know, in football, they say get a lot of guys in on the tackle. They had 3 guys over there trying to block the shot, but Drexler guilty of fouling. 3 on him, and he's going to stay in the ball game. Franklin has come out. A change, though, for Houston. Derek Giles, number 10, a junior college transfer, coming in now for Guy Lewis.
As I mentioned before, Guy Lewis has 10 fellas that play over 10 minutes of the game. Giles, the lowest there, right at 10. Bobby Parks, excellent free throw shooter. Has been to the line 175 times this year, which shows how active he is offensively.
He's 3 of 4, and as a team, Memphis State is 4 of 5 from the line.
Well, let's see if Giles realizes how wide open he's going to be on the zone when Memphis State backs it in.
Those free throws giving the Tigers of Memphis State the lead, 44-43. Mishaw been shut down in the second half offensively. Here's Giles.
Not looking for the shot, but it's there.
Ooh, Young almost walking with the ball. Giles is not much of a shooter. He's more of a playmaker. Drexler penetrates off to Mishaw, and Lee's committed his 3rd foul.
He came down with the wrist. If he'd have stayed straight up, it would have been a good block.
And so 2 outstanding opponents now have 3 fouls.
Now watch this. If he goes straight up with his hand, instead of coming down with the wrist, he gets by with this. Straight up, the minute that he came down is where they called the foul on it. Because he had a good block.
Look at the arms. He's another 3-4 inches above him on that play. Mishaw now at the free throw line. He has 3 points. And Mishaw, 55% free throw shooter, but yet, Billy, he shoots 60% from the field.
Well, really, free throw shooting is a sign of what a pure shooter you are, whereas field goal is the ability to get the shot off and prove that you're a scorer, a lot of times scoring inside.
Those 2 free throws gives Houston the lead, 45-44, 14:52 left.
We are USA 1, taking charge with celebrity. No import sedan at any price can match this Chevrolet for the room it gives you with the mileage it gives you.
And Chevrolet now brings it to you at new, lower prices. The 5-passenger front-wheel drive Celebrity with standard engine electronic fuel injection. Chevrolet's new generation sedan. Now get 11.9% financing at participating Chevrolet dealers. Hurry. Offer expires March 31st.
Born of tradition, nurtured by pride. Budweiser Light, with a clean, distinctive taste. A light beer worthy of the king of beers.
Bring out your best. Bring out your best.
The best never comes easy.
Budweiser Light.
That's why there's nothing else like it.
Budweiser Light.
I'm Bill Bixby. Join Marriott Hartley and me for comedy when Goodnight Beantown premieres Sunday, April 3rd at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
I prefer to think of it as the 30 minutes after 60 minutes.
45-44, Gary Bender, Billy Packer. The site, Kemper Arena, Kansas City, Missouri. A semifinal game in the Midwest region. The winner to play Villanova Sunday for the right to go to Albuquerque. The Phi Slamma Jamma, the tallest fraternity in Texas. And look how they have been winning their ball games, but they're not going to win by that margin today.
It doesn't look that way, and Gary, it was interesting. We saw the scoreboard up there. Some fans may have noticed both coaches have saved their timeouts. They both have 5 left, and both of them realize that at 15, 10, and 5, the TV timeouts are called, so they use the TV timeouts to take the place of their own.
Memphis State has hit 4 of 5 for 80% in the second half. But the foul. It's on Akeem Abdul-Olajuwon, and he has 3. Well, Drexler and Olajuwon now in some foul difficulty.
Give Dana Kirk a lot of credit. When he realized what they were doing man-to-man, he got Phillips up there to handle the ball at the high key, which pulled Olajuwon away from the basket and made Keith Lee open. A lot of times you see a coach leave a big man down around the lane and he clogs up everything.
Dana Kirk checking. That's only the 3rd team foul on Houston. Rebound, Parks just couldn't get up high enough that time. Off to Giles.
Good feed.
Misha, and the foul will go on Haynes.
Good feed and good foul. That's one you don't want to give that guy an automatic 2-pointer.
First on Haynes, 3rd team foul against Memphis State.
You got to remember now, Dana Kirk talking to his Iron Men. Here's a 3-on-1 fast break, and Haynes hustling all the way. You see him coming down on the left. He's going to commit the foul right there. Good foul to commit. You don't give up the basket and put the Misha on the line who's 50-60% free throw shooter.
Oh, he got the roll, and the way he's been shooting free throws, he'll take it.
He stayed with the shot pretty well.
This man led the Southwest Conference in field goal percentage, but shooting only 55% from the line. Considered to be the strongest player on this team. 47-44 now, Houston.
So he hit the pair, but he had to work for him.
There's your time left in this game to decide who goes into the championship game Sunday. Good nice fake by Derek Phillips. Oh, Akeem, nope, that's goaltending.
That's a nice piece of teamwork right there, and really good sportsmanship. Watch right here. Akeem Olajuwon is going to hit Keith Lee after he blocks this shot. Now watch it. He's going to hit him accidentally. Lee doesn't realize he's behind him. Right there he hits him. Lee didn't know what it was, and after they turned around, look at each other, good shake of the hands, nice sportsmanship.
That's the second goaltending call. 3 blocks for Akeem. Giles, not known for his shooting.
There, he took that shot from 13 feet. That's how far the zone is packed back in. He has to take it.
49-46, Turner. Follow attempt inside by Bobby Parks. It's going to be off of Memphis State. Drexler inbound.
Let's see what that does for Giles. He's got to realize that they're giving him the shot at the foul line.
Giles coming in here, Billy, only averaging 1.6 a game. Here's Young. He's their best outside shooter. Drexler with a rebound.
What quickness by Drexler.
Team with 3 fouls, operating against Phillips.
He made it. Turned it against his body and still made the shot.
This game's too easy. He may bring a lot of Nigerians over with it. That's 17 points for him, 51-46.
Keith Lee has got to touch the ball here.
Look at that by Drexler. Boy, what a play by Clyde. Not scoring that much, Billy, but doing other things. There's Giles. He's going to save it in. Are they in the
How about 10? Dana Kirk wanting 10, doesn't get the call. Had to be very, very close to 10. Here's Giles again on the foul line. Wide open on the foul line.
Talk about ability.
That zone is as tight as any you'll ever see.
There's a reach in by Turner. Turner with the steal. Andre Turner. He was on the all-Metro freshman team. He led the team in assists and steals, second and third in that department in the conference.
Saw Adams for BC last night, a real water bug back there. I'd like to see those fellas in a foot race. There's Lee.
Lee maneuvering on Akeem. He's got to be careful of that 3 fouls that he has on him.
But he got it. Akeem is now on Lee, and he's looking for Mishaw to switch back for him. They ought to get the ball to Lee right away. They ought to get it to him. Good move.
There he goes. He chests him out. He blocked it.
Great
took
play
a chance,
by
but he got it. 4 blocks now.
That was worth the try, though. Good play. Lee was really posting up there well. That was a good play on part of both teams.
Less than 12 minutes to go. Another reach in by Turner.
Watch Elijah on. He's coming.
Boy, Haynes knew it, too, didn't he?
You know what helped? Turner got in the way of Olajuwon and kind of set a screen while he was running down the court.
That interference.
That tired Olajuwon out a little bit, too. He made a long run.
51-48. Houston with the lead. Drexler. Oh, that's going to be forearm.
Yes, sir.
Drexler now in foul difficulty with 4. Guy Lewis at the 11:34 mark. Going to have to make a change.
We haven't said much about Phillips, Gary, but he is doing a lot of smart, solid things out here. Now he draws the charge right here. Instead of going up and challenging Drexler, he holds his ground. See it right there. Good call by the official. And Drexler is going to have to sit down.
Nope,
they're going to stay in there.
You know what this reminds me of, Billy? We did a game against Syracuse. Remember how long he played with 4 fouls in that game?
Well, he's such a good athlete, and he's got that quickness that he can go ahead and handle a little bit. Here we are trying to stay with Turner. Can't do it.
Keene made him change the shot. Rebound Keith Lee. And that's off of Bobby Parks.
A little bit too tough a pass.
But Drexler, the good athlete, Guy Lewis didn't even hesitate to take him out of the game. He just left him there.
11:15 to go.
The turnovers. Memphis State has committed 2 more.
Memphis State goes back to their 1-3-1 zone, and then every once in a while they go back to the 2-3 zone. Surprisingly here, now what Guy Lewis is going to do is say, I'm going to let some time off this clock for Drexler.
Well, he was going to try to. Mishaw can't control it. Akeem is there.
He spread it out. I guess they were planning on taking some time off the clock, make Memphis State come out of the zone.
Akeem, the dream, now has 19 points with 10:45 left in the game. Drexler reaches in. Got now. Drexler going after with Turner. And Turner tries to reach in.
See, Drexler realized that if he made any move to advance the ball, it's going to be walking, so he stayed right there.
Boy, he's not afraid to go on the floor, and there's going to be a foul on Mishaw going over the top. And Mishaw has 3.
But that's not a serious problem for Houston because that bench is so deep. Memphis State, I see, having a bigger problem, Gary. If Houston gets the ball again with a 3-point lead, see how long they hold on to it to try to bring Memphis State out of the zone. And if I'm Dana Kirk, I don't come out of that zone for a while because you've got to keep your kids rested. He doesn't have the bench.
Dana Kirk, a former assistant with Denny Crum of Louisville, Virginia Commonwealth, 4th year, and that's going to be a turnover, number 11.
There you saw Haynes looking over at Turner saying it was my fault, I should have been reaching for it. Now, let's see if they spread them out, try to get them to come out of the zone. Here they are. Now, Memphis State is going to come out of the zone playing a 1-3-1 trap instead of going man-to-man.
Game. Lee got a piece of it. He's got the rebound.
Guy Lewis didn't want that shot.
Reach in that time by Drexler again. He's all over the place. Here he comes.
He'll take this one to the hoop.
Whoops. Lost his footing, and he walked with it.
He was going to take that one all the way to the hoop. It's a little slippery right there. That's about the 3rd time I've seen a guy slip on that part of the floor. But it wasn't really a wise play because if he'd have gone back and forth, he'd have probably been all right. Watch this. He tries to make the move. Watch his feet go out from underneath him. See, right there, he slipped. Good call by the official.
53-48, the lead by Houston.
5 years ago, it was just an idea to create a new breed of copiers with the stamina to run and run and run, that could anticipate the unexpected, adapt to changing conditions, and have the intelligence to constantly monitor itself. Introducing the Xerox 1075 and 1035, the first of the marathon copiers. From Xerox.
Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge. And talk about tough. This stock Chevy S10 took on the Baja 1000, the most grueling off-road event on the continent. It was a totally stock pickup with guts enough to start and finish. And at the Baja, to finish is to win. You can buy an S10 pickup just like it, with optional V6 power from your Chevy dealers now. Chevy S10, from America's truck sales leader. Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge.
Houston has won 23 in a row, the longest streak in the nation, and a little bit of foul difficulty. Drexler 4, Mishaw 3, Olajuwon with 3, Lee has 3. And Drexler, they did not take him out when he picked up that fourth foul, with still 9:54 remaining in this game.
The girls from Memphis State put on as good a show as you'll see in college basketball, and I think the fans are very appreciative of their work.
This is fun, isn't it?
Yep,
this
really
game is outstanding. We had an excellent game just before this. Villanova beating Iowa 55-54. We're going to have a change for Houston. Looks like Brian Williams, isn't it? That's who it's going to be. Brian Williams will be coming in at the first opportunity for Guy Lewis. Eric Phillips out to Turner, not afraid to take the shot. Rebound, Michael Young.
Not the shot you'd want, though, in this particular case, because you've got Houston with that 5-point lead and the ball, trying to draw Memphis State out of the zone, and they have. Memphis State is now playing man-to-man. Man-to-man, it'll be tough for him.
Shaw brings it out.
Marks on Drexler. How about that quickness, that position?
They could score here. Houston could have their biggest lead of the ball game.
Shaw and Lee. Lee's got to be careful. Long time to delay the game, particularly when you're not a good free throw shooting team.
The team foul situation.
Might not be a bad idea to commit some fouls here, Gary. You only have, Memphis State has 3 team fouls.
That's
okay?
right, 3 and 5 is the way it is right now.
I think this would be a good time to commit some fouls to make sure that they can't go down the line where they don't have to go on the line. They merely get the ball back. Try to go for some steals. Of course, in the case of Memphis State, you don't have too many guys you can give up a foul.
Boy, Mishaw did that with authority. The basket will count, but he's going to be called for charging.
He was all business there.
See how he's perspiring?
Yeah.
He's perspiring like that before the game. He works up a real lather.
Well, we'll see this move right here. We're talking about a 6'8.5", 6'9" man. Look at him handle that ball. He comes in, and he is going to the basket. Charge or no charge.
But I want to tell you, Billy, that might be a bad exchange because that's his 4th foul. I don't know if that's worth that basket.
Well, one of the things you can think about, if you're going to hold the ball, you're going to want to come back in with guards, some of your better shooting players. So Mishaw, not a good free throw shooter, and a guy you don't need in the delay game.
That basket did give them the biggest lead of the game. They lead by 7, 55-48.
Between Lee's legs.
Rebound Young. That's his 2nd defensive board, back-to-back.
Dana Kirk standing up with his arms folded, realizing his team's getting in a real jam here.
Drexler now has come out of the ball game during that last exchange. First time he's been out. Here's Akeem.
All the shots. He's made the turnaround jumper going left and right tonight. He's made the half hook.
That's 21 points for him. Steal attempt by Giles. Turner got it back in time.
No place to go. Good catch by Phillips.
Eric Phillips makes it a 7-point game again.
And what's so tough was 7:50 to go for Memphis State to have to play man-to-man this long. These kids have been out here all night long. No substitutes.
Houston, their school record is 31 straight. That was the days of the Big E and Don Chaney. Will that basket count? No, they're going to wave it off.
Yeah, he was touched way on out, 15, 18 feet from the basket. The ball will merely go out of bounds.
That will be on Haynes, his 2nd personal. 4 team fouls, so they're still a long ways off from shooting free throws.
Will Memphis State have anybody else other than Lee in serious foul trouble?
No.
Okay, so I think the other 4 fellas ought to commit some fouls right here, making sure that Houston doesn't get any easy baskets.
There's Turner with a steal on Giles, and Giles steals it back.
And a re-steal.
Oh, what an exchange that was. Oh, what a play.
Hey, the little guy. How about the guts of that little guy? Steal and a re-steal.
8 points for Andre Turner. 57-52. Giles is shaken right now, and he's lost it again.
He's got Haynes wide open. Good play by Lee.
Boy, that steal really took some confidence out of Derek Giles.
Geddes is up and on the sidelines, and he'll probably be back in this ball game.
Timeout is called. It's called by Memphis State.
Here you
They were
see.
down by 7. They cut it down to 5.
There's the steal. Now watch the little guy hang right back in there. Makes a re-steal with that super quickness he has. And then took the ball into the lane against all the trees. Makes it left-handed. Dunk shot.
That's up to the standards of our tournament play.
There is just one place where you can go from high school to flight school. The Army.
Be all that you can be. Oh, yeah. Growing strong now. Strong together.
We've got more pilots than the largest airline.
Be all that you can be.
Not bad for a rookie.
You can do it in the Army.
We are USA 1, taking charge with tough, easy-to-own transportation like Chevy Chevette. While Ford's base Escort suggested retail price went up, the lowest price Chevy Chevette held the line. In fact, this two-door Chevette is priced over $600 less than Escort L two-door. And Chevette has millions more owner-driven miles behind it. Chevy Chevette, from America's sales leader. Now get 11.9% financing at participating Chevrolet dealers. Hurry. Offer expires March 31st.
Tomorrow, one of the most unusual courses in the world sets the stage for the Tournament Players Championship here on CBS Sports.
Gary Bender, Billy Packer, 7:02 left. Houston, who a moment ago led 57-52 before a brilliant play by Andre Turner. Reed Geddes, number 44, now checking in for the Houston Cougars. As coming out of there was Giles. Also, Alvin Franklin's in. So Franklin and Geddes will be in the backcourt now for Guy Lewis. Ryan Williams, 54, also young. They don't have a very big lineup in there now.
They've got a smaller club, realizing they're going to have to go against the man-to-man defense, probably going into a little delay, but it's a lot of time on that clock to go to a delay.
Time exactly 6:48. That's going to be a foul on Brian Williams. Lee sneaking behind him. Williams is committing his first personal foul. He just lost him.
Yeah, this Memphis State club is a smart team. They see an opening and they take advantage of it in a hurry. We'll see it right here. They realize that Lee had good position. Good job by Lee not to push off. And he goes right back up. Gets fouled by Williams.
That's 17 fouls. Of course, Lee will be shooting anyway. He'll have 2 coming. This guy hit 25 free throws in a row this year. He was 3rd in the Metro with 83%. What's he do? He misses one.
He misses one, but he's got the good rotation. All business on that free throw. Excellent technique. There's not much he can't do with a basketball.
13 points for Keith Lee. Geddes in a little bit of difficulty. Gets it off to Young.
I think these kids aren't in pretty good condition. They're playing this whole time.
Heads up pass out to Mishar.
Here we go. Little spread going against man-to-man. Mishar and Lee altered the shot.
Lee, after the good defensive effort, has the defensive board.
Look at him. He brings the ball up the court.
You know, he loves to play like a guard. He'll shoot the ball out there. He forgets he's 6'10".
Nice job by Turner coming back and help out. And I think Williams is going to see Keith Lee a lot the remaining couple of minutes of this game.
Well, he's the franchise. They got to go to him. It's all over if they don't pull this one out. Here's Bobby Parks.
Down to 2.
15 points. That 7-point lead to 2 now.
And Bobby Parks can go all day. And now Houston kind of putting this thing in a cooler a little bit. There's a lot of time left. They may have to get back to the offense.
Michael Young is fouled by Haynes. They may have to get some of their people back in there, too. Drexler and Akeem.
Now, there was a case with only 14 fouls. Fouling before he gets a chance to put that thing up. Let him take it out of bounds. But Houston has lost their offensive momentum.
At the line will be Young.
Saw that in the Boston College game last night. They had Sampson out of the ball game, and all of a sudden Boston College kind of lost the momentum. They normally are a ramble-scramble type team, and they got into a tempo game.
Young, a 65% free throw shooter. I tell you, at 61 years of age, he looks pretty good, doesn't he?
He sure does. You know, one thing about him that's kind of interesting that a lot of people talk about his great coaching record, you don't realize that he is the 8th all-time scorer at Houston in scoring average with a 20.3 average, and that was back in 46-47. That's a lot of points.
That was the first captain, wasn't he? 59-55. You realize that Houston's hit 9 of 10 from the line. They've forgotten they were a poor free throw shooting team.
Well, that's how you win national championships. Do the things you normally don't have up to par.
5.5 minutes to go in this one. Turner challenged everyone. Parks is there again. Rejected by Brian Williams.
Lee gets it back, loses it.
Mishaw's got it, almost running out of room, and it's batted off of Memphis State. What an exchange that was.
Boy, these kids from Memphis State been on this court the entire night. Very little time to rest at all. There haven't been a lot of timeouts taken. What do you got? 3 that haven't come out of the game at all.
Parks, Turner, and Haynes haven't come out, Billy. There's Mishaw, wisely kicks it back outside. You see the time left. 59-55. Into Mishaw.
Mishaw, good, calm fella inside there.
Not a lot of expression for what intensity he plays.
You wonder how long Guy Lewis is going to keep Elijah Wan and Drexler out of this ball game.
Drexler went out, Billy, at the 8:40 mark. We're now at the 4:46. Steal by Turner. What a player.
I'd say we're going to see a timeout, and he's going to be back in with this timeout.
It's a 2-point game, 10 points for Turner.
I think Houston needs a timeout and get those fellas back in here. Here comes Drexler off the bench. But they might not get him in after. They could really use a timeout here. They're losing their offensive structure.
Now Franklin can't get that over Lee. Somehow Brian Williams gets it up. That's a big basket for Houston. Brian Williams hasn't scored that much, averaging over a 1.2 this year. 61-57, back to a 4-point lead. Drexler impatiently waiting to get back in.
Sometimes you can't get them back in without that timeout. Parks posting up inside.
Parks again. We talked about his tenacity again. Brian Williams. Boy, he has come to the forefront. Dana Kirk wanted goaltending.
Oh, I think he deserves it. I think, first of all, there was a foul on Parks, and then there was definitely a goaltending call on that one. We'll see it here. Now watch, Parks is going to get fouled right here. He gets fouled right there. No call. Now watch this tenacity, as you put it, Gary. Goes back up, pulls it back off, puts it up again. This was goaltending. The ball definitely on the way down. No call.
Well, our replays by our director, Bob Fishman, certainly backing up Dana Kirk. And Dana Kirk obviously is not going to get that verdict changed. As you can see the arcing motion of his arm, he's trying to explain it.
Yeah, that ball was definitely on the way down. And fortunately for Memphis State, they got the ball back.
Well, we said the Houston averages 8 blocks a game. They already have 6. They have a 61-57 lead. We're going to take another angle at this.
There you go, Parks going back up. We're going to see him right here. He grabs the rebound, puts it right back up. Definitely goaltending on that play. Williams was standing right underneath the basket.
Now, watch in the background.
Little hat dance. Little hat dance.
The Navy, but West Virginia is hot.
You know, we talked about Guy Lewis being an outstanding player at Houston. That fella right to the right of Dana Kirk, Larry Finch, is still the leading scorer in the history of Memphis State.
You realize this is the 10th anniversary of that Final Four team.
There he is. Larry's put on a little bit of weight. I don't think he's playing a lot of one-on-one right now. But he was some kind of player.
Well, that was Gene Bartow's team.
Larry Keenan. Remember the man that had the game in that final?
Oh, Bill Wall. What did he do, miss one shot?
He was unbelievable.
Well, let's see the changes now. Drexler has come in. Akeem is in now, too. So Drexler left at the 8:40 mark, comes in now at the 3:52. He's playing with 4 personal fouls. If there's anybody who can do that, he can.
Timeout probably very valuable to Memphis State there to get a little rest, and also for Houston to get reorganized.
Memphis State has 3 timeouts left. Houston 5.
Memphis State has the arrow going in their favor on the next jump ball situation. Houston back, packing back in there a little bit.
10 points, 8 assists by Turner. There is the time left in the game.
Shaw on Lee. Phillips trying to get him the ball, can't do it. Probably in that timeout said, we'll work until we get Keith Lee the ball one time. Bobby Parks posting up on Drexler. Much tougher to get the ball inside.
Here's Lee, and look at the attention he gets. Phillips, he's fouled.
That's Drexler's fifth.
All for Clyde Drexler. So he comes in, and he commits the 5th foul right away.
I think it caught him by surprise. Phillips making that move down the lane. There was no question that he reached in and grabbed the arm.
He goes out with 8 points, 7 rebounds, but more importantly, they lose his complete game.
I think it was nice of Clyde when they talked about the players in the Southwest Conference vote on the most valuable player in the league. And he is the fellow that won the award. He said he gave his vote to Darrell Walker of Arkansas, and I think everybody saw what Darrell Walker could do last night in the Louisville game, and there was the foul.
Boy, congratulations to Eddie Sutton in Arkansas. What a performance, losing by 2 to Louisville.
Clyde trying to talk his way out of it, but kind of like getting a speeding ticket. Once that guy pulls out the pad, you're in real trouble.
That was an important miss. Drexler still doesn't agree with that last foul on him. 3:17 left. Derek Phillips now 2 of 3 from the line. And as a team, Memphis State is 8 of 12.
You go full court pressure. 2-2-1, full court pressure.
Geddes very calm, collected, almost intercepted. Guess who? Turner again. Mishaw reach in on him and a foul. Going to go on Turner. Turner really frustrated.
He's mad at himself, but he gives his whole heart to this ball game. He's even talking to the Houston bench over there.
Now that's 16 fouls. One more, and they're going to be starting free throw shooting. Geddes will inbounds.
I'd say people in Memphis that like to go see some high school basketball, be wise to get out there. They're putting out some product.
Well, they've signed a couple more, haven't they? 61-58, 3 minutes left in the game. The winner to play Villanova. Elijah Wise.
Put the ball on the floor.
There's Young trying to bottle. Keith Lee blocked it, and we're going to have a foul.
That's okay. Now you're up to 6 team fouls.
Well, that was the 7th team foul.
That's the 7th, so now they got to go to the line. You put Elijah on the line. Not bad. It's a way to get the ball back.
Again now, the alternating hell ball. It would go to Memphis State if they would have gotten the hell ball there.
It's 1-1.
Guy Lewis coming into this game with 527 wins. The All-District 6 Coach of the Year. A couple of publications already named him the National Coach of the Year. 21 points for the 7-footer. 6 rebounds, 4 blocks.
And he shoots under 60% from the free throw line. So Memphis State is going to have to try to capitalize on that free throw shooting, and Houston's going to have to keep that ball moving.
Historically, Houston has had problems at the line, and boy, does it become important now.
Lee posting up on Mishaw. Good help inside.
McKean thought he was going to put it up. Lee had to get it out of the crowd. Turner. Rebound, Mishaw. That's 5 rebounds for Mishaw, the only senior in the starting lineup for Houston.
Give Franklin a lot of credit on that last defensive play because he came in and double-teamed on Lee.
There's a reach in by Bobby Parks. Young will bring it out to 13 now.
Mishaw pulling way out here. He has the ability to go out and make the good catch and handle the ball properly.
There's a foul on Parks. Young will be going to the line. Second foul on Parks.
Young is 65% free throw shooter.
Now listen to this. Their starting lineup, their best free throw shooter is Drexler. He's fouled out. The rest of them, Billy, the highest percentage is Young at 65.
That's right.
13 points for Young. He's hit 3 of 4 from the line. 3 of them in a row.
2 minutes and 5 seconds left. We've had 2 great basketball games here tonight.
I bet they're saying that back east, too. Georgia upsetting St. John. North Carolina winning over Ohio State. Off the miss
back.
Again. They've missed 2 of those. A 3-point game with 2 minutes.
And what's so frustrating for Guy Lewis is you know that Memphis State's going to put you on the line.
Can you win a national championship and shoot that percentage?
Well, last year, remember, North Carolina had a horrible free throw shooting night for the national championship game, but still were able to come out on top.
Look at that.
3 men around Lee. He wants to shoot the ball.
Rebound. Hakeem Abdul-Olajuwon. 7 of them.
Lee's got to realize they're putting 3 men around him so he can throw the ball over to the weak side, because if you've got 3 men on you, that means 2 are covering the other 4.
He looks a little tired to me, too. Here is Franklin. Turner on him.
Franklin's got some good power.
Turner chesting out, committing the personal foul. 2 on him.
Franklin, a 58% free throw shooter. And Franklin joined the starting lineup January the 17th, stayed in there the whole way. Did not have a particularly good game tonight, but has really given Houston a solid point guard from the time he got in that lineup.
Billy, I'm really impressed. Our statistician, Mike Swanson, just pulled out the free throw percentages from that championship game you mentioned.
Yep.
North Carolina was 13 of 22.
I said
he just carries them around with him. There's Franklin hitting one. Now, Franklin this year, let's check him. Franklin's hitting 57%. And Dana Kirk wants him to think about one. Back to a 4-point lead. Memphis State is running out of time. There's 1 minute, 23 seconds left to play.
Like all actors, I have an agent. Sign that. And a business manager. Pay that. And a secretary. Don't lose that. Luckily, Canon's come up with personal cartridge copiers. You know, the entire copying process is in here, so maintenance is as simple as this. And copies come in black, brown, or blue on plain paper. Finally, Canon PC-10 or PC-20 for the most important person in my life, me.
For information, call toll-free. Canon Personal Cartridge Copying. Plain and simple.
We are Chevrolet. Why has Chevy Citation outsold all front-wheel drives over the last 3 years combined? You're looking at it. Hatchback versatility with 20 cubic feet of wagon-like convenience. Comfortable room for 5 people. An electronic fuel-injected standard engine with better mileage estimates than 41 smaller cars. You're looking at the versatile Chevy Citation. Seeing is believing. Chevrolet is taking charge.
62-58, a minute 23 left in the game. Memphis State now with 2 timeouts left after calling that last one. Houston with 5.
There you see that Houston's sending all of their players down on the other end of the court, defensive purposes. Memphis State coming out with everybody, of course, setting up on that lane. I never have with a good rebounding club that they have. I'm surprised, knowing they have a 58% free throw shooter up there, why they wouldn't have guys down there to rebound.
He hit the first shot. Now after the timeout, some time to think about it. Let's see if it affects him.
Well, he makes the shot anyway. Didn't make any difference.
63-58. That was the first 2 points of the game for Franklin.
They showed a little zone and back in the man-to-man. There's a good block.
Team again. That's 5 blocks.
Memphis State putting the shot up a little bit quick here. They're taking some bad shots.
Bobby Parks with 15 points, now with 17.
Oh, he got tripped, still made the shot.
It's a 3-point lead. 1 minute left to go in the game. Parks all over the place, commits the foul, and Young will go to the line.
Hustle, not a lot of time went off that clock. We're down to 57, and it is going to get down to a foul shooting contest.
Hakeem in this game has 5 blocks. Houston was 7 as a team, so they're right at their seasonal average.
You see Bobby Parks is driving that ball right down the lane, going for the 3-point plays. Houston has all that size inside. It's hard to get that shot off.
Well, when they've needed some baskets, this guy's done it. Can he do it from the free throw line?
That looked good.
Dead center. Those look like you can't even watch. Dana Kirk, 4 years. 2 of those years he's been an NCAA tourney play.
A lot of people say you get a job as a coach only to eventually get fired. And what a gut-wrenching position it is.
Well, there's the clutch performance again by Young. Cuts them down to a 5-point lead. Dana Kirk now has 1 timeout left. Memphis State at the 52-second mark.
Gary, that's a tough timeout to take because you want to save those timeouts to stop the clock after you score. Dana Kirk had an opportunity before when Houston was on the foul line to outline what he wanted his team to do offensively, and I think that was a timeout that's really going to cost him there because with only 1 left, he can only stop that clock 1 time with timeouts.
65-60 our score as you look here at Kemper Arena. The winner of this game to play Villanova. Our executive producer of NCAA Sports is Kevin O'Malley. Our producer is Rick Sharp. Our director, Robert Fishman. Our associate producer, Patty Tuitt. The rest of the crew, Steve Shear, Victor Frank, Jay Fairman, Jennifer Marshall, Charlie Weeks, we want to thank them, and we're looking forward to rejoining them here Sunday. We'll be bringing you the Midwest Championship. Tomorrow, Billy and I will be in Knoxville. I can hardly wait for that one. Kentucky and Louisville.
Gary, how many tickets did you say you have for that game?
I could be a wealthy man, huh? Guy Lewis is not concerned about that game tomorrow. He's concerned about this one right now.
He's buried in that towel over there.
Wow. Boy, the life of a coach. Huh?
How about the wife of a coach? You think that's not a tough job? They're the first people to get into heaven. Wives, yeah, that's true. Anybody that's a wife of a coach.
Well, I'm not going to argue that case, but you might be right. 51 seconds now. Here is Turner.
Trying to go inside for the 3-point play.
There's going to be goaltending.
Trying to go inside for the three-point play and pick up a quick goaltending, plus stop the clock at 46 seconds.
Haynes with 9 points, 65-62. Houston has had a field goal attempt the last 3+ minutes. And so maybe being a little conservative, not able to shoot the ball, but instead going to the line will haunt him yet. We'll be back with 46 seconds left.
Columbia Pictures presents Spring Break, the time of year when college students practice what they've learned in biology.
The smell of girls roasting in the sun.
Make interesting new friends.
Buenos dias.
Learn new sports. And just plain relax on the beach.
I still don't know where my underpants are.
Why, what happened to them?
I think they ate them.
Spring Break, rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
Well, Houston with the lead, and Houston has knocked away, Billy, 10 shots in this game. 3 of them, however, have been goaltending calls.
Well, I want to point out something here. When you commit a goaltending violation, it stops the clock. So not only did Memphis State get the 2 points, but they also got the clock to stop, which was very important. And if I were Houston right now, I'd be very selective as to what shots I try to bat away.
Speaking of the time, again, Memphis State with 1 timeout. Houston with 4, 46 seconds.
Geddes couldn't get the ball in bounds, so with the clock stopped, he went ahead and called that timeout. The arrow pointing in favor of Memphis State.
That's correct. There's a steal. And a foul. Missed it, but he was fouled. It'll go on Geddes.
Good foul by Geddes. Don't want to give that uncontested layup. But here we get back to the difference in these 2 clubs on paper is that free throw shooting ability. Haynes, an 84% free throw shooter.
He was 30th in the nation this year in free throw percentage, and he's talking to himself. He backs out. He is 1 of 2 thus far tonight. 9 points, and here comes Philip Doom Hayes, a junior out of Memphis.
Like he's digging in at the plate.
Boy, statistics don't mean a lot sometimes, do they?
You watch this foot position of Haynes. He digs right into that foul line. There's Keith Lee down the other end. There's Haynes. You can see his foot, left foot, twisted into that lane.
8 of 13, Memphis State from the line, and Haynes gets the tail end of it. It's now a 2-point game, 65-63. Reed Geddes under control, off to Franklin. Franklin to Young.
Time for another foul here. They don't want to let too much time go down that clock. There's Parks going for it. Almost made the steal.
And there's the foul. It will be a 1-and-1, I believe.
Wasted a lot of time on that foul.
That's 4 on Parks.
But what's really smart that Memphis State is doing here, they're going after the ball, not just automatic go grab somebody and have a 2-shot foul. They keep that pressure on as being the front end of that 1-and-1.
Franklin will go to the line. He's perfect thus far, 2 of 2 from the stripe.
Again, this is a very unusual strategy, I think, not to have your rebounders down here if you're a bad free throw shooting team. The other team's not going to fast break you.
They've got 3 guys at the other end. Houston does, and Franklin hits it. Franklin was quite a player in high school. He averaged 27 points a game at Lamarck, Texas. This year, he's not a shooter. He's been a playmaker. So he might be a pretty good free throw shooter. Just hadn't fired up that many.
He hit him again.
Made it look easy. 2 big ones.
Sometimes it helps to have the freshman on the line. They don't realize that. They don't realize it.
So now, it doesn't start the clock, but they went across the 10-second line.
No, what happened there, Gary? You've got 5 seconds to get the ball in bounds. But that 5 seconds counts. Even if you throw it in bounds, it doesn't go off until it touches a player.
And so they waited too long. Turner is really beside himself. He didn't realize the time was going against him. They didn't get across the 10-second line, and what a big turnover that is. Let's watch it now.
Watch this right here. We're going to see regular speed, a little replay of this. 26 seconds to go on the clock. Now, the time clock will not move here at all. But you have 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, 1,005, 1,006. A fine call. Nobody touched it. It must be touched by somebody inbounds on either team to knock off that 5-second count. Good piece of officiating.
So with 26 seconds now, Houston, of course, will be sent to the free throw line as quick as possible, as Memphis State will be out to foul him.
Yeah, I was going to say about freshmen going to the foul line. A lot of times they haven't felt the pressure of this tournament. and maybe more so even than the seniors. They realize they've got a lot of years to go. They go to the line with a little bit more relaxed attitude than a senior.
Great throws in the second half. Houston has hit 13 of 16.
Isn't that amazing?
It really is. The Memphis State, on the other hand, for the game, 9 of 14. Completely reversed to what you would anticipate.
Yep. And let's think about tomorrow. Louisville, Kentucky, North Carolina State going up against Virginia. And that'll be the action for the West and the Mideast.
And then we'll be back here Sunday. And, of course, in the final analysis Sunday, we'll be looking at 4 teams that'll be on their way to Albuquerque. It'll be fun to talk about them. We'll have some time Sunday to do that.
And Houston does get the ball out from under their own basket.
Young, they caught him napping.
That's gonna be it right there.
Young with 17 points. Turner tries one. Misha
did a smart thing. He got rid of the ball before anybody could foul him.
Oh, he missed the shot.
Might not have been a bad thing to do, because they've got enough points. They need to get the clock off.
Misha this time is fouled with 5 left to go. Franklin is upset that he missed the shot, but really didn't hurt him that much.
No, it really was the smartest thing he could have done, Gary, is not even go for the shot. Dribble in, bring the ball back on out, and make sure you get that time off the clock.
Well, you can see the emotional change from Houston to Memphis State with that picture.
The guy's got that towel all balled up.
528 victories for Guy Lewis and Bobby Parks.
You know, Gary, every time I see celebrating in the tournament, I think back at the Pepperdine NC State game where the Pepperdine kids were celebrating that 6-point lead. Looked like they were on their way in the tournament. NC State kids were sitting there so dejected, and here we have NC State in the final of a regional, and Pepperdine was out in the first game.
Interestingly enough, Billy, Houston playing without Drexler about the last 8.5 minutes, still able to get the job done. They now will have 24 straight wins in a row, and their record will go to 29-2 for the year.
And you know what this does for Guy Lewis? It moves him ahead of Al McGuire with 21 NCAA wins, so he gets up there with some select company. Johnny Wooden, Adolph Rupp, and Dean Smith are the only ones ahead of him.
Guy Lewis. Remember, he had 31 wins in a row. Houston back in the 67-68 season, now with 24. His team with a 70-63 win. So it's going to be Houston, Villanova in the Midwest Regional Final. We'll be back with more, but right now, let's go to New York and Brett Musburger.
All right, Gary, and our Chevrolet MVPs for this game, for the winning Houston team, Akeem Abdul-Olajuwon with 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 block shots. And for Memphis State, Andre Turner, 10 points and 8 assists.